Now to the world of collectible sneakers, where buyers pay hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for limited edition shoes. Tonight, our economics correspondent Paul Solman profiles two so-called sneakerheads, one a major collector, the other a seller. It's part of his series, Making Sense, which airs every Thursday.
This is 3,000 pair of sneakers.
Mark Mayer Farisi has been collecting sneakers for so long, he needs more than this basement to house his hallowed 3,600 pair collection.
You know, the storage unit, the apartment, the house is probably $1 million of sneakers.
At New York's Sneaker Con, we covered the billion-dollar secondary market for sneakers. 20,000 sneakerheads buying and selling rare kicks for hundreds, even thousands of dollars.
You have change.
We pointed out the drivers of this market: brand loyalty, alternative identity, aesthetics, and perhaps above all, status. Mayer Farisi is a vivid case in point.
I'm the Imelda Marcos of the hood, because you know how she had all the shoes and I have all the sneakers.
Mayer is an influencer. People want what he endorses, in part because they drool over his collection.
There was an episode on Entourage one day where Turtle wanted a pair of sneakers that were unobtainable and they were online and they couldn't get it. And then Vince made a phone call and he got him a special shoe.
5,000.
For sneakers? They're not just sneakers, E. They're wearable art.
I made you an even more limited edition. Only one of one.
This is also the Entourage shoe, but instead of Turtle's name on it, it has my name. It says Mayer. This is real crocodile.
Crocodile?
This is Croc. This is a $2,000 Air Force One. This was the price on it. This was the last time that Nike ever used exotic materials on a shoe.
Mayer has got 28 pairs.
I have the only ones in existence. These are unobtainable. You can't get them.
Obtaining the unobtainable hikes Mayer's status in sneaker culture. How does he get the kicks? From friends and connections who sell him limited releases at retail, but Nike and other brands also give them to him for free.
The fact that I'm popular because of sneakers, a lot of companies capitalize on that and they want to give me product because they know I'm going to post it on social media or I'm going to wear it and I'm going to be seen in it.
At age 45, Mayer Farisi may seem an unlikely market leader for teenage sneakerheads. But he says,
I became the OG. I became the
what is OG?
Original gangster, original gentleman, whatever they call it. It's a term of endearment for older people. I only have 151,000 followers on Instagram. But my 151,000 followers are core. They follow me because I'm Mayer and they love what I love. So I have a cult following. And that cult following means a lot to a lot of brands.
and it's not just sneaker brands that get exposure.
This is a Louis Vuitton Supreme pillow. How
Yes.
much is this thing worth?
They sold for $600. They're probably going for $2,500 a pop now. Louis Vuitton was not selling them to the general public. I winded up with every piece in the collection. So I pride myself on that.
Then there's his Rolex collection.
I like these nice things because I couldn't afford them as a kid. I grew up very poor, talking cereal with water, not milk, mayonnaise sandwiches, wishing I had, ham and cheese on it. I mean, my mom's did what she could do, single parent. And, when I finally made something with my life and did something with my life, like these are my trophies.
And you always wanted them because it would be a sign that you weren't poor.
Right. It all started for sneakers with me. My mother bought me a cheap pair of sneakers called the Mark V.
When it's the bottom of the ninth and he's digging for home, he wears the rugged Mark V from Sneaker Circus.
It's a division of Spalding. It was a cheap sneaker. I thought I was cool because my name is Mark. I go back to the neighborhood. I got ridiculed, laughed off the block.
Really?
Laughed off to the block to the point where I was fighting. I was so angry and crying that there was fists flying. That's how angry I was. And I vowed that would never happen again. And that's where it became for me with my sneakers.
How does he afford it all?
Let me show you the world's best sneaker cleaning product on the planet.
Farisi is a well-paid brand ambassador at SneakerCon for a sneaker cleaning product called Crep Protect.
Keeping your sneakers clean is a must in the sneaker community because you always want to look fresh, you always want to look good.
He also hosts digital videos, runs his own marketing firm, all gigs that grew out of his love for sneakers.
Power laces, all right.
Mayer actually has the Back to the Future shoe, the Nike Air Mag.
I think I paid $4,800 on the auction. It's probably selling for $15,000 right now.
And even that's not his most prized pair.
This is a Jordan 4, undefeated. This is one of the holy grails of sneakers. 72 pair in existence, $25,000 this shoe is going for.
You mean-
I've been offered 20,000 used off my feet. I can take this shoe, bend it and crack it in half like this, and somebody will still offer me $18,000 for the shoe.
Which may explain why he was willing to let me try them on.
Can I just do it the way I do with normal sneakers?
Yeah, you can slip in there. Go ahead, don't be afraid. There
Well,
you
it's
go.
$25,000 sneakers.
Stand up and let me see. There you go. It matches the clothes.
I tell you, I swear I would wear those.
But I wouldn't buy them. These undefeateds were going for $55,000 at New York consignment shop Stadium Goods. And that leads us to the second star of our story, sneaker reseller Young Run Z John, aka 23 Penny. Those not lucky enough to be mayor rely on the likes of Z, who got the reselling bug from his mom.
She used to flip iPads.
She used to flip iPads.
Yes, sir, because there was a shortage of iPads being sent to China when it first released here in the U.S. So what we would do, we would go to Circuit City, we would go there in the morning and wait on the iPad, and then she would send all those to China.
Z has been reselling since he was 18 online, and now also from a showroom outside Nashville, which doubles as his warehouse. He sells almost $2 million worth a year.
And where did these come from, for example?
I can't quite tell you that exactly, Paul.
Because that's your trade secret?
That's my trade secret, yes.
Resellers like Z are notorious for snapping up the latest sneakers as soon as they get to stores, before the public has a shot, as he acknowledged in a documentary.
For the people who think I'm a villain, I just want to let them know that I'm trying to be the best villain there is.
Why are you the bad guy?
I'm the bad guy because while everyone else is wanting a chance to buy a pair of sneakers for retail price, I'm sitting here with a good amount of sneakers that I've gotten that, you know, other people might not really even have access to.
The sneaker market has created a technical competition of its own, featuring bots, for example, computer programs that complete an online purchase in the blink of an eye.
When Joe Schmoke is on his phone on adidas.com at 10 o'clock, he's typing in all his credit card information digit by digit and his billing address, and the guy with the bot, he is buying 10 pairs at a time in a matter of nanoseconds, and when Joe Schmoke gets done, the shoe has already sold out.
Right, and this happens with Broadway shows, for example, and there are all these then counter algorithms to try to, are you a human as opposed to a bot?
That's why we have resellers like me who have access to a lot of the goods that people have trouble accessing and whatnot, so that way, you know, they'd rather just now pay the extra and you know, it's hassle-free.
But you're like the person who is reselling Hamilton tickets, but you got the Hamilton tickets because you knew somebody who'd gotten tickets, as opposed to having a bot that bought up all the Hamilton tickets on Broadway for the next 6 months.
In a sense, I'm still a ticket scalper, but I'm doing it. My approach to that is different.
A ticket scalper with a shoe for even the unlikeliest of customers.
Look at that. That's a Carpe Diem look right there.
And I actually bought 2 pair for a few $100s. For the PBS NewsHour, this is economics correspondent Paul Salman reporting from Nashville and New York.